Hello friends, so in this video lecture we will understand how to score good marks in ethics. So ethics is one of the very important paper to score good marks in mains examination to secure good rank in the UPSC examination. Why it is one of the important papers? Because you can see a vast difference in the marks scored by one student and another student. Some students struggle to score more than 90 marks even in three mains, four mains, and some are just acing in ethics paper, scoring more than 110 marks in each of the year that they are appearing in mains examination. So what is the basic difference that we will analyze in this video? How and in what manner you can study ethics and secure good marks in ethics paper. One catch which is there is that due to essay paper tilting towards philosophical part, you will have an advantage if you will be good in ethics, if you will be good in terms of ethics. So preparing ethics is highly important. Now, what should be your approach? Firstly, you have to understand every single keyword given in the syllabus. What is that? If you will see syllabus, you will come across words like attitude, you will come across aptitude, you will come across probity, you will come across word like integrity, and you will come across several such keywords. So you have to understand each of these keywords. What does it mean? And what is its application? How does it forms? What role it plays in the life of human being? What role does it play in the society? What does role it plays in the civil services? So you have to understand all the things, and later on you have to connect these keywords with current scenario. Current scenario. Current scenario, that is, there was COVID. So the role of aptitude in COVID, the role of attitude in the COVID crisis, role of integrity in the COVID crisis. So this is a current context. Or corruption and values. Corruption is a current context and values is the keywords, even though corruption is part of your syllabus. Now, if you will read from one book, say for example you are following lexicon, now understanding all the keywords from a single book will be tough. So if you will just rely or tie yourself to a single source, it will be difficult to understand everything, and understanding everything is very necessary to become familiar. So you can have multiple sources, and one source which is very handy is Google. You can just Google integrity. You will get some 5-6 definitions. Just adopt the one you think you can memorize, you can write, or you can understand that. Now, some people ask, should we have our own notes? Now, whenever multiple sources comes into play, multiple sources, uh, it is very hard to revise. So to revise it again and again, you have to concise your sources. That is why making notes in ethics is very handy. But there is one condition, that it should not be bulky. If it is bulky, it just kills the very purpose of making notes. So you can have 50 to 60 pages notes. If it is less than that, it's very good. Now, straight away, you cannot realize what is important in the newspaper with regard to ethics. You have to first understand the syllabus and the keywords, and then only you will be able to identify good contemporary examples. Say, for example, there was something which was done by a particular officer. Now, it is very easy to use one example of officer when it is straight away a question of civil services. But if you have to use that example in non-partisanship, then this example should be specific. So to have a specific example, first you have to understand what is non-partisanship, partisanship, what is impartiality. Okay, so if you won't understand this very keyword, how you will choose examples from newspaper or from any other source? Now, there are a lot of philosophers, there are a lot of schools of ethics. Now, you don't have any option to just neglect any school, whether it is deontology, teleology, or rights theory, or any other theory. You have to understand those theories. Sometimes straight away a question is asked, but it is less probable. But you can utilize them, especially in the uh, case studies. Case studies you can apply. How you can apply? Say, for example, you have to choose something which is benefiting large section of society. Say, for example, if you will make a river bridge which will have a good impact on the people of that village, a large section of village, utilitarianism you can apply and write to authenticate your answer based on ethical principle. Okay, so this way you can utilize it. But when it comes to the philosopher part, you have choice. Choice in the sense that Gandhi you cannot neglect, Aristotle you cannot neglect. Aristotle is or Socrates you have to read. After removing them, you have choice to like you want to read Rabindranath Tagore or you want to read Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda again, I will say that you should read it. But you can neglect Aurobindo Ghosh, Deen Dayal Upadhyay if you want. So you have a plethora of options. Out of those, you can have 10 Indian thinkers because the checker is Indian. He will appreciate more Indian values. An example from Ramayana is more appreciated than an example of Roman Empire. Okay, so you can understand this. For case studies, there are a lot of hue and cry about case studies. I will say this is one of the most scoring part of ethics paper. If you will see the paper, subjective questions barring the year CSC 2019 are tough. Why? Because there is one part, and most of the time it is not straightforward, and you have to write in very less time. Courts question, it is very hard to write. Case studies are easy. Why easy? There are 3-4 visible parts. When there is a 3-4 visible parts, you have scope to write. Okay, and no matter how big the case study is, mostly you know what we have to write in the end. In most of the case studies, there are 3-4 types of case study which are recurring, like sustainable development issue, sustainable development issue, sustainable development in the sense there will be a long case study. There was industry, it is polluting, and what you have to do, something like that, or conflicting environment and development. This is one of the recurring aspect. Then you are working somewhere and there is issue of corruption, you have to take a stand. Yeah, checking the moral suasion, checking your uh, uh, courage of conviction, courage of conviction. Then women related issues, especially sexual harassment at workplace, is a again a recurring theme. Now, why I'm telling recurring themes? Because you can have certain predefined points, 5 to 6 ready-made points. Why it is necessary? Because you will feel time crunch if you will not prepare in this manner. Time will be an issue. If you will be able to utilize this in 3 4 questions, you will save time, and you will save time, then you will complete paper uh, properly. If you will complete paper properly, you will easily score 90 plus. I'm not talking about quality now. If your quality is good, then easily you can score even more. Now, best practices. If you will write a case study, and in the later part you will use some best practices, it will give more weight. Or way forward if it is asked, and we usually write way forward in case study. If it is a problem solution kind of question, then also best practices will come handy. Better India you can follow. Better India you will find a lot of examples, a lot of good examples of businessmen's, women's, entrepreneurs, civil servants. You will find a diverse kind of example. Now, in case study, you can also utilize constitution. Apart from thinkers and schools, constitution is something which can be applied. DPSP, fundamental duties, mostly. You can also use court cases. Yeah, you can use them. Vishakha guideline, etc. Important things, you can utilize them. Now, your answer should not be too idealistic. Yeah, like you are just quoting thinkers and you are not giving a solution to the problem. Because this is the paper of civil services, you have to give a solution. But that doesn't mean you will write GS answer. You have to use thinkers as well, uh, philosophy as well, and realistic point as well. So it should be middle path, middle middle path of Buddha. Now, revision is key in ethics. So I am telling this because initially you will feel a kind of inertia while reading ethics. Because it becomes quite boring. So revision is key, and it is not a subject which is common with prelims. So we get attached 3 4 months you will not read ethics. So revision is quite important, and concise notes is also very important. Understanding is again important, otherwise you cannot cram the whole syllabus. Practice more and more to get familiar with the subject. See, understanding one thing is one part. You know deontology, but using deontology when it is required is something of another piece of paper, or another aspect. It is not necessary. If you are understanding something, you can utilize this. So by writing you will become familiar with that particular thing. Now, if you will utilize these 12 points, I am sure you will score very good marks in ethics. Just try to follow this approach. I hope it will help you. Thank you so much.